Okay, we have a pretty big one for you this time. We're going to try and get some props and get the animations. I probably won't get as far as, I mean, as doing remapping the textures and all that. That's more a Blender thing. So, it's not going to look exactly right, but we'll get it in and get it working. Uh, so what I want to do is, borrow some parts, you know me, and I want to use these actual blades and props. And I'm going to show you I'm going to do one prop. Uh, you'll have to change the code up, if you have two, because you know, let me show you that. We'll actually do the code first. And this round, we're only going to do a single prop. Oh, wrong folder. Uh, and then, you'll have to learn or adapt it for a double. Actually, I guess we have a double. I should do a double. The problem is it's more work. Let's see. And what he has, again, we're going back to this is Jonx's aircraft EXT from his package. And what he has is the prop and M, and this is great. This will work on one prop just fine. So some object package sources. This is my, all right, now you probably actually have some extra that I don't have, but remember we're going to go right above this behaviors because we want to stay in the behaviors for this one. And we're going to copy and paste his engine component, which is the prop animation. Okay. And I want to comment that just for good measure. Close that. Close that. Alright. Now this will work and it's great for one prop. But if we add a second prop, which we're going to end up doing, we might as well. We're going to copy this, obviously. You see the first easy thing is the ID 1 and ID 2. Now, the other thing is we can use the same animation. This is just the trigger. So that'll work, and that's what has to be triggered, has to trigger them. So we can use that, but we have to have, we can't use the same nodes. Now these nodes have to be name specific, and we'll get to that. So here we have to have something else. Now normally you would make this dash, actually let's go ahead and do that. This would be -1. Copy that on all 4 parts. And this is just because we have 2 props. If you had 1 prop, you wouldn't have to do any of this. I'll do this one. Okay, so now we have our nodes with unique names because we want separate nodes for left and right. All right, we'll save that. That's our coding. And like I said, if you only have 1 prop, don't change anything. Just copy this in, use that as the animation, but basically follow exactly what I'm going to do up to the first prop, and it'll work just great. You don't need to rename these. Yeah. Of course, you would have to rename it in game. You would only use that rather than the -1 game in Blender. So you'll see that. And I made a cheat sheet here for this as well. What did I do with it? Oh, I put it in here and I didn't move it over there. And this is how I'm gonna. These cheat sheets are just great for me in game. So we're gonna create a prop still, and we'll have a nose cone that will parent to it, so it turns with it. So this will be one part, and each of these will be. So we have 4 different parts here that we're gonna parent under a controller, and the controller is what we'll animate. So let's get started. I'm scared I'm going to confuse you more talking about it than just doing it. So let's see. All right. The first thing we need is going to be some extra parts. We don't have everything we need in our model. And I'm not going to get through to the textures. I'm not going to bother. So you'll have to separate, delete all the old materials and create new materials and UV map all the new components and things correctly. And that's something you can look on YouTube. There's plenty of how-tos for Blender. That's a Blender specific, how to set up PBR textures. Yeah, the 152 is fine for what I'm doing. We're only going to borrow a few odd parts, just because I'm not even sure how to make them actually, but I don't think they're hard. I just haven't bothered looking them up. The parts I'm going to borrow are just easier to get this way. Take a minute to load this default aircraft. There we go. Alright, so what we have is all kind of parts. Don't necessarily need. Here's a prop blur cone, which is not connected, but let's see. I'll get rid of, here's a frost spinner. We're not doing any frost. You can add those. It's basically just, there's another frost. We'll get them completely out of another frost. Get them. I'm trying to show you the, alright, nose cone. Now this is what I'm going to make out of what we have in the model already. So let's get rid of that. We don't need it. Here's the first one we're going to need. That's our nose cone slow. This will be our prop slow. We'll call the prop slow. Here's our prop blurred, and there's the side blur. So these are our blurs. I'm going to select all 3 of these. Control C. 3 items copied. And you know what? I'm going to open a 3rd version of Blender because I don't want to paste those into my project just yet. And we'll Control V here. And the reason I don't want to do it is, yeah, they're sideways and upside down and backward. Not really, but they're sideways. And I know why. I've been through this. So what am I doing here? Oh, so the first thing we want to do is put them back at center. This one is at center. And yeah, let's change this to EU, and we'll see we have 0, 0, 0. So let's change this to 0. And that'll straighten it up. Now it's facing the right way. Now, what you see, these, see it's on quaternion. We got to change it to EULA to get our, I'll change that to 0. Also change that to 0. And we'll stack it up. Same thing with this. There, 0, 0. Now they're all lined up the way we want. Alright. And I like that they're, see where their origin point is? That's cool. Alright, select all 3 of those. Control C. Wait a minute, let's, these are the ones that should be named correctly, right? I'll look at my cheat sheet here a minute. So we'll get rid of that nose cone, replace it. That'll make this the parent project. That one the parent. So yeah, these are our actual, this is our prop slow. Blur. And I'm going back to, did I not have that open? I didn't. I'm just remembering what we put in here. Now we actually need prop 1, prop 2, you know, prop 1 and prop 2 of each of these, but I'm just making it the common now. So this is prop side. He didn't use the blur, only I like to use, it look proper English or whatever. Alright, and our plot prop still is what we'll use in game, get from in game. We'll create that in game. Alright, now we can control C, and we're ready to put that in our game, or in our so get this out of here. Why is it always good? There we go. Alright, too far. So put this about here. I'm going to separate it. Now I'm going to put a cone in both this blur and this. And I don't know why or if it's necessary. But so we need 1, 2, 3 cones total. Copy. Paste. You know what? I need to get some the origin better. Let's delete that. I need to get an origin in here. Set origin to geometry. I can live with that. Control S. Cursor to selected. Perfect. I like the way these are at the back of the cone. I want to set that one the same as the other one. There we go. Alright, now we can duplicate it. I just want the origin for this and this to be the same. I don't know why. May not even be necessary. Probably doesn't matter, but there's one extra prop. There's our second one. And I'm going to leave them dead lined up just so it's easier. Alright, now this one we can already move. Select it to cursor. Yeah. And now the reason that's why I wanted to put those right where they are, so they're center. Now I don't have to worry about making sure these are going to rotate squarely. Okay. We want to take this one. I know how to do this. Cursor to selected. Selected to cursor. There we line that puppy up. Then I'll move it back here to where I think it's going to be going. And I'm going to hit this one. Shift, select that one, and parent them. Now they're tied together, or well, they're going to move together. Let's cursor to selected, object to cursor, selection to, there we go. Now we're dead lined up. Of course, I think we already were, but put to right there. All right. Good so far. Now comes the one a little bit more intriguing. Here we're going to select it, hit tab. It'll take us, and we'll select a single dot, control L, and that gives us this center cone. Delete vertices, and that gets rid of our cone. Tab again. Now we can Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift S. I may not be doing this the most. I don't know what I did there. Shift S. Selection to cursor. Same thing. We're going to slide this back. We like it. We're going to select this with a shift key and parent. Okay. You know what I didn't parent? Darn it. The original prop. The original prop stuff. How do I get it out of there? I gotta unbuild it to do it. Dang it. Okay. This one, did I not? I need to parent to that. There we go. Now where is that? Did I rename that? No. Rename that to prop. Still. And I'm just going to name them generic first. Get them all in there. Alright. Dang it. Shift S, put it back together. Selection to cursor to selected. There we go. Right there, about where the blades are. I think I'm going to enlarge it just a fuzz. Not quite out there to the tip of the. Yeah, I think we now have a reasonable. We only need one thing left. That's we're going to add empty. There. Find our empty so we can rename it. This is going to be prop controller 1. Actually, I should start with 2, and and just the reason because this is engine 1, this is engine 2. I kind of. In other words, I think, don't think that matters. But, I stole the controls from the DA62, and in the DA62, the left engine is engine 1. So, now we have all of our generics here, well, one of them is probably props. Oh, there it is. Alright, we got all of these. So what do we need now? We just need to tie them to these. So we'll select these 3 or 4, then select this last. All right, now since we have this as prop 2, I have to change all these to -2. And again, now I'm following this. Here's the controller. We'll set that animation, but all of these have to be precise. That's what we have in the this file. And we're setting up the second one first. May not be the right second one. Now that we can set an animation for, and it's pretty simple. We will be doing rotation only. We'll set a key at 0. Go to 100. Just be a generic 100, and we won't even. We'll do it right here. Make sure it's in EULA. It's the middle one, and this happens if you look at this blade. These are left. Both of these are left turning, and I would probably, if this were my aircraft and I were really doing it, I would break this prop here around and make it a right turning blade, or this one a right turning. But you'd have to separate the blade in the center and do some other work. I'm not going through all that. All right, I'm going to use, and I like 359 instead of like 360. That just makes sure it goes all, I don't know. I just use 359. And from 0, it's turning, or right-handed, I should say. Left hand for me from this. That would make it a right-hand blade. From the back is what you would name it from. So did that all wrong. Linear. And that's it. And then we'll throw that to here. This is our prop dash enable, which again comes from right here. So, and that's what these notes are for. So basically, is what we did is we took each prop and we parented the cone under the prop. Parented the prop to the controller. Or, yeah, no, that's exactly what. All right, now to get a second one, all we're going to do is copy and paste. All up. Delete these objects. All of them. Since we didn't move them forward or back, we should be, yeah, good enough. Go. These are going to be Prop controller 1. So all these we got to change to a 1. We use 2 first, so, you know. Normally I would have done it the other way, huh? I just got to do something to confuse myself. It's no fun if I just do everything perfect. All right, now this one we need a animation for. That one at there. 100 minus 359. Oh, I hit a 9 or an 8. Should really have my glasses on doing this. There we go. Sure, it's linear. There we go. Now the game, I mean, it seems odd because we're animating what, 4 different parts in each of these. I didn't throw this up here, did I? No. So we want to throw that up here and name the animation track. I forget that. Why have I already got an anim? Huh. I have 2 animations in here. Get rid of that one. What the heck? That wasn't right. I'm not sure why I have 2 tracks here. Pretty sure I only set one. Maybe it copied it. Really, I can get rid of it somehow. Not like that, I can't. Huh. I have the right one under both. I'm not sure where that came from or how I got it. It should work because I do have the right one there. But I think it pulled it somewhere from when I copied. I guess it already had the animations and I shouldn't have tried to start making one somehow. That's something I don't know. I should be able to get rid of it somewhere. Alright, well let's try it. That's a new one. Try not to do that. That's what I shouldn't have said it. I should have just renamed the this part and left it. It already had the controller. It copied the animations, and then I tried to set up another one. So don't do that. That was a mistake. I don't think it'll hurt anything because there's no strip or anything in there. There's no animation associated. But now this isn't going to look right because ideally you would have to realign all your textures, UV map it and everything. So there's you could save that for future use or whatever if you want. We don't need this anymore. Don't save. but this isn't going to look very good because, like I said, we're not redoing the textures, but you'll be able to see the animations are working. If you do it with one, I don't know why, but for some reason when I do two, something may not be right the way I'm doing the second one or copying. I should probably just rebuild both of them outright. And see if that helps. Always do something a little different this time. Learning 1,000 things not to do every day. And like I say, this isn't going to look like it. You know, the textures aren't going to be right because those extra nose cones that we created probably aren't mapped correctly. I'm not even sure they're mapped at all. I'm not sure what happens. I'm not that great with Blender itself. I mean, I'm learning. It's one of these things. I'm reasonably certain I could fix it, but it'd be a kind of a trial and error kind of thing. And this is one of the things that, like the textures and moving, even building the props the way they're built. There's several different ways the game does it. Like I don't know if I showed you the textures of that 152, but some of them have like the blend textures on a separate, completely separate file. And the 152 has the blend texture in a corner, and then has like the rest of the cone and the prop, the blade itself, all the colors on the other side, and that's kind of neat. But you would have to build some textures to make the graphics look perfect. I should probably hush up about the textures and all that. That's something I need to work on myself. Learn, you know. Like I say, I can do it, but it's not something I'd make a fool of myself on camera with. I can do that easily enough without doing something I know I'm extremely weak on.
Kilo Golf Oscar, Kilo Traffic November, 246 Alpha Tango, taking off runway tree for straight out departure.
And we got our turning prop. And we'll throttle her up. See how it changes speeds. That's it'll probably look better when you get the blur texture and everything straightened out. I don't think we're getting all of the effects that it actually has, but obviously it's working. So the next step would be to fix the textures. Again, that's I'm not gonna funk with that just because I'm not that good with them. But there we go. The big thing is just making sure you're lined up with the with this name, and of course this animation name has to be right. And I mean, I draw it out like this because I get confused easily if I'm in Blender, so I just kind of draw me a little cheat sheet. And that one is, there we go. So yeah, that's the, this is the last one on the outside. I mean, there's a lot more we could cover, but it's the last one I plan on doing. This, beginning kind of series, because that's where I'm at. I'm still beginning, and I'm ready to do the inside. I've already learned some a good bit of the inside. I should have fixed this up a little better. I've never set up pedals, but I'm pretty sure that should be pretty basic. Again, these I haven't actually done per se, so I'll have to figure that out. These I know, these I know. And then I haven't messed with these at all. Well, the yoke, I've done the yoke, so I know how to do that. I just haven't done the pedals themselves or brake or flap levers. They should be pretty easy. And yeah, I need to. The radios I haven't even looked at. The switches, I've done a little research and they're pretty easy. Like I said, these I've looked into, but I haven't planned them out. These I've started planning on and have those in the works. So it'll be a little while before I do the next video. I'm not sure. Probably going to release this now that I've gotten this far. So there might be a delay in between the release and the interior stuff. Not sure how much of that I'm going to do or can do. I'll do all I can. All right, but I hope that helps somebody, and hopefully, if if as I come along with better ways to do things, or if I've messed up and done anything incorrectly, I learn like on the windshield, you really should stretch it out, and I put a notation on that fixes video that really makes the rain look better. So a couple of little things like that I'm picking up as we go along, looking at different discords and things. So I may have to improve on my videos in the future. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.